guys, what's up? It's your boy Trix. Today we're going to be doing another spring tutorial. This is the last of the spring tutorials that I will be doing, and then I'll be moving on to the play framework. I will be doing the the play framework's Hello World tutorial, I think. And then once I've done play, I'll do Spark, and then I'll move on to ORMs. So yeah, let's get started. So, metrics and tracing with Spring. Spring offers the pieces you need to add metrics and tracing to your Spring application. This tutorial walks you through how to create a Spring, such an application. For this is on for you need two applications. You can call the first one service and the second one consequently we need a parent build file that builds both applications. To start creating the service application, visit this, choose Maven and Java 15 and set artifact field to service. Okay, so Maven and Java, then artifact field to service. Whoops, is supposed to be a lowercase service. Maven, Java. You can use Gradle Java 8 or Java 11, but the tutorial is Java, Maven and Java 8. I'll use Gradle. Spring React Web. Yeah, that's fine. Spring Reactor Web. Then we've got Actuator. Then we've got Lombok. Then we have Sleuth. Interesting, why can't I find Sleuth? And then Wavefront. Is that a Maven thing only? Hang on. No. No. Interesting. Anyway. No, it does this. It's the same thing. It doesn't have Sleuth. It needs Cloud Starter Sleuth. If the project is archived, okay, it's not archived. Built 2 days ago. Is 2, so 2.7.9. Gradle, Java, jar, then I need 17, then there's, okay. Generate. I don't know if this tutorial, okay, you know what? I don't know how I feel about using a library that's not being maintained anymore. Well, it's still being maintained. Let me rephrase that. It's still being maintained. What I mean is, I don't know how I feel about a library that hasn't been updated to the latest version of Spring Boot. And then, like, words are escaping me today, sorry. As you guys were seeing when I was looking through like the latest versions of the tutorials, there are some tutorials that do support Spring Boot 3. Whatever, and you can hack it to working. But I think this is the first tutorial that I've seen where it's specifically like you need to use this version of Spring Boot. You know what? We're gonna read it. We're gonna read through it. I'm gonna try to sim my way through it, and then we'll call it a day. Cause I went through all of these Spring tutorials and like I've hacked my way through them, and at the end of the day, like I can understand why people are using them, and you know I'll reserve my judgment for after we've read through this tutorial. I'm surprised Quarkus isn't on the developer roadmap. Hang on, I just want to check. On the GitHub one, is Quarkus on there? Quarkus isn't even on here. Why Nessie? Seriously? It has it has OK HTTP but it doesn't have Netty. And then it has Spring but it doesn't have Quarkus. This doesn't make sense. Okay, well, let me look at the one on roadmap.sh. So we would start at computer science, then we would go to Java, then Spring. So at computer science, that's fine, that's fine. I think I've looked at this before and I was like, yeah, this is calm. Like, it's quite complex, not gonna lie, but it's quite good for what it is. And this says after doing Java, go to Spring Boot. I'm like, okay, Spring being scope. Did I do this? Oh. No, I didn't do it, but I tried doing the tutorial on it, didn't I? Because if I go to all guides, tutorials, this is the one that we're supposed to be doing right now. Could have done these other ones. Okay, yeah. If it okay, I'm going to leave that open. I'm just going to leave that open. Anyway, that's fine. This spring one should go back to Java after doing spring. That's fine. That's fine. But let me just drink some water. I was going to say, by the way, if you are learning Java or like looking at these roadmaps, I do genuinely recommend like looking up Bildung's posts. As you can see, like whenever I've been like looking at different Java stuff, most of the time Bildung comes up. He has really good Java stuff, and as like to supplement reading of whatever you're doing, I do recommend it. I could have probably just used this tutorial for learning Spring, but his tutorial was a long. Let me just see okay, which one's at the very end? They're short, but they're to the point. Like, they're not massive like the other ones. They haven't been updated in a while, though. But, yeah, I do recommend them. Haven't used Spring before, but I looked at Beldong stuff before, and I do recommend his stuff. His stuff's pretty good. If I'm pronouncing his name wrong, apologies. Apologies. But yeah, let's just read on. Okay. Now I need to. Okay. 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 That's fine. Micrometer. Hang on. I heard that in a talk once. That makes sense now. I'm sorry that I'm not saying anything. I just want to take this tutorial in as I'm reading it, because in terms of content, I don't think I can give any besides like talking, and even then, I don't want to. It's just giving you a dashboard. Okay, fair enough. The technology is cool, at least. Okay. I'm so sorry about this stream. I'm going to say what I need to say, and then yeah, if you don't like what I say, it's fair enough, and it's just my opinion. Again, I think I just want to I want to start with the good bits, because if I just go ham on the bad bits, then someone might just like turn off the stream and be like, yeah, he's just hating. There are some good bits about all of the spring tutorials that I've done. The technologies that they touch on are really good. The content is pretty good, and it tries to explain things as in not too much depth that you don't understand it, but enough depth that you can hack on it if you wanted to. And it tries to get the underlying, like, how it works across to you in like I keep saying like in a not breathable, but it makes it very easy to understand it as you're reading it, right? And it does. Lots of them do link to other resources that you can look at and like delve deeper if you wanted to, which is really good. It has, these aren't diagrams, but they're at least screenshots showing you what it would look like when you're working with it, which I think one of the other tutorials did as well. Not all of them did it that way, but this one at least has it like that, which is a good thing. It's giving visual feedback to what you should be getting as output. I remember complaining about that in one of the tutorials, where it's like, oh, I didn't know that the tutorial was broken until like there was a screenshot near the very end showing what it should look like as output, and I was like, well, I'm not getting that. And then I realized I was doing something wrong, and then I had to add a annotation to make it register, and then I was like, oh, okay, cool. I like how they link to other resources. I've said that already, like other resources you can look into, and they at least accredit the author who actually made who the tutorial is based on. Now, I'm going to get into bad bits, and the bad bits are always pretty much the same. And I'll just summarize it as I am somewhat disappointed in these tutorials, not in terms of the content or the things that they are teaching. Again, I think the things that is being taught is very good. It even says in the tagline here, provide deeper in context explorations of enterprise application development topics, leaving you ready to implement real world solutions. Lots of the things that they are teaching you will use in real world. RESTful services you will use. Using authentication services for security you will use. If you're going to be doing front end using React and Angular, you will use. Again, authentication, OAuth 2 with token access you will be using if you're on a project that's using them. Showing how to integrate it with different languages and with different technologies. Useful because you'll be able to understand how it'll interlink with everything, and like trying to develop a mindset of, oh, these things should try linking together like this. And then metrics and tracing. Nearly every project has a way to monitor metrics, pushing metrics, analyzing metrics, tracking. Not really, in some places don't do tracing, like tracing logs and stuff like that, but you can use it. Like there's open telemetry that's out now. I remember when I was at a conference for JLC, they were talking about open telemetry as well. These technologies are being used in the real world, and it's useful that these are actually trying to teach them to you, right? But again, I'm not disappointed in the content. I'm disappointed in how updated the tutorials are, and that's purely down to me from what I was expecting out of this, right? Because I was expecting this to be, you can just follow the tutorials with the latest version that is currently being released by Spring, and that you should just be able to hack on it without having to consult the Git repos, without having to consult Stack Overflow, without having to consult any additional resources, to be honest. Because if it's a tutorial that you are supposed to spend at least 2 to 3 hours on, and expecting the majority of the content to come from the tutorial itself, and that nearly all of the content in the tutorial will map specifically to the thing you're trying to do. Of course, there are exceptions, like issues or errors that you're running into, or like exceptions where it's just, oh, you have, like what I had, where it was like, oh, I had a annotation that wasn't present, so it wouldn't register one of the repositories, which is purely because I didn't add it in. Yes, there is some blame that, it wasn't in the tutorial to add it, and it probably worked at that time where you didn't need to add that Spring annotation, where yes, that's my fault that I didn't add it, but also the tutorial should have said if you're on this version, or just make it that you update all of the tutorials to the latest to reflect the latest version of Spring, right? Because if you're releasing a version of Spring, I would at least expect that the version that you're releasing has tutorials for it, and that the tutorials are updated, or at least specifying in the tutorial that you should be using this version. Like in this one, it at least specifies the version of Java you should be using, right? That's fair. It doesn't specify the version of Spring you should be using, but it specifies the version of Java you should be using. There was another one. No, this one is okay. This one. I know another one specified the versions you're supposed to use. Am I bugging? Is it just that one that specified the versions you're supposed to use? No way. No way. Have I been remembering this so long? Okay, well, there was at least one that specified the versions you're supposed to use, which I can't knock them for, but the other ones didn't. The stuff between Maven and Gradle isn't bothering me as much, just because I've touched enough Maven and looked at enough Maven that I can just map it to Gradle now. Like, if you haven't done Gradle or Maven before, maybe you would have difficulty with it. I was having difficulty with it in the first couple of live streams, but now it doesn't bother me anymore just because I've looked at enough Maven now through these tutorials to be like, yeah, I can just understand how it maps to Gradle. There are like some specific Gradle packages that only work for the front end ones. I mean Maven packages that only work for the front end ones that can't work in Gradle just because the package in Gradle doesn't exist. It's only a Maven package. But yeah, my biggest issue with these tutorials, and it's not about the content, it's just about these haven't been updated for the latest version of Spring Boot. And if you want someone who's using these tutorials to use them with a specific version of Spring Boot, that should be specified somewhere. That's all. That's the main takeaway. I have no issue with the content. Content wise, maybe just have like toggles for the Gradle and Maven bit. I'm not really bothered anymore because I've already gone through them. And like once you've gone through, I want to say 3 of them. When did I stop complaining? I don't even remember when I stopped complaining about them. But I probably stopped complaining about them this time. And then just today I was like, I can just read it now. But yeah, I would say maybe just add that toggle in for switching between Maven and Gradle so that someone who hasn't experienced both or like just can't be asked to, not someone who can't be asked, because if you know both, you might as well be able to do both. You might as well just be able to like look at one and you'll be fine. Yeah, you'll be fine. But for someone who's coming to Spring for the first time, it'll probably be a lot easier if there's like a toggle that just shows how it'll look in Gradle, how it'll look in Maven, just so it'll be a little bit more accessible. It's not really that big of an issue though. My biggest issue is the tutorials aren't upgraded to the latest version of Spring, and if they are supposed to be used with a specific version, it's not specified anywhere. The only place that specifies that something should be a specific version is in the last tutorial, where it tells you what type of version of Java you should be using. And then unless you check the repositories of the packages you're trying to use, you won't know what version of Spring you're supposed to be using, and then by that time you might have to you might have to switch out the packages that you're using, right, that you put into your Gradle and your Maven. It might not be, it's probably not that hard to switch it over, right, because you're just changing the version number in the file. But again, for someone that's learning it, it's just a pet hate. The best way to explain it is it's a pet hate that if it's a tutorial, I would expect the tutorial to cover the majority of things, not errors, like things that you would search up on Stack Overflow, or like, oh, you encountered this error, because everybody's going to experience something different, right? All the stack traces are going to be different. But if it's specifically like, oh, you need to use this specific version or something like that, that should be put somewhere at the start of the tutorial so someone who's doing the tutorial knows what version they should be using, right? Because if you're using an outdated version, at least you'll know to upgrade. And if you're using a too bleeding edge of a version, they would at least know that, oh, they need to use a version that's rolled back a bit, right? So that they could have some stability. I'm pretty sure that 3.0.2 is a point release. Start.spring.io. Snapshot. 3.0.3. That's a point release, right? So it's not a snapshot release, it's a release that should be okay. So other than that, I think the tutorials are pretty good content-wise. Like, I have no issue with the content. It's just updated tutorials. I know you've done it for at least 2 of them, because 2 of them I didn't have issues with. If I go to blog Spring I know it's somewhere. I was literally on the website earlier. Spring tutorial. Nah, come on. I know I was looking at it somewhere. Spring Boot. Learn. 3.0.3. Reference doc. No, it says here, these are the two tutorials that are only updated for Spring 3.0.3. And they have 7. And only 2 of them are updated for 3.0.3. Like, come on. Other than that, got nothing else to say. Again, I just want to reiterate for anybody that might take this out of context, there is no issue with the content. If you're using a version that is supported by the tutorials, please go through it, because you will learn a lot just doing the tutorials and understanding how it integrates with different technologies and just taking in how it should function, right? Because Spring is a big framework and is trying to make you touch as many things as possible without going too deep into it that will overload you, right? Making it digestible. There we go, digestible. Is making it easier enough for you that you can digest it easily without feeling overwhelmed. My biggest gripe with this whole thing is that the tutorials aren't upgraded for the most recent release, except for 2 of them. And that could easily be fixed by either just updating the tutorials, which might take a bit more time, or just pinning to the tutorial the version that you should be using when developing for that tutorial, and that's it. That's my only gripe with this. Anyway, next time we are going to be doing we're going to be doing play. I'm just trying to find documentation for this so that I don't have to, so I at least know what I can use as like a document example. That website's done. That's unfortunate. Working with play. Hello world tutorial. You know what, we could just I know what I'm gonna do. we're just going to start from this page. For play stuff, choose another folder, inside here, new folder, play framework, save. There we are. So we're going to do this from next week onwards, just going through how play works, then overview of the application, exploring our project, implementing it, which should be fun, and then some extra tutorials. Let me just see if this is up. Group name, night blend, accept all. I just want to see if the actual engine server is down. How-to guides. Ooh, they do have one. Nice. Nice. Then defining actors and messages, creating actors, then asynchronous communication, then the main class. Nice. Okay, so we have our 2 tutorial places. Publish tutorials that cover a huge number of cases, though you can find projects in Java and version of A. You can hit one that demonstrates functionality of interest to you. As long as you can download covering the following topics, that's fine. Third-party tutorials. Play community also has a number of templates listed here, are not maintained by the play team, and so maybe out there. This is an incomplete list of several powerful blog posts, and because some of the blog posts have been written a while ago, the section is one of the play version. What I'm saying is, if play can do it, so can Spring. If play can do it, so can Spring. That's all I'm going to say. Just Java. There we are. So, that is the play framework. So, let me go back. That's the Hello World tutorial. So this one, then we're going to do this one, then this one, then this one, and then this one. Play is going to take a while though, because I'm looking at this and I'm like, that's going to be long. What does this do? Ooh, it does a download. I don't know if I like that. How-to guides. So, if I'm looking at this, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me just check what this is. This uses K8. It's a Scala. Setting up environment. could do it this one. Monitoring. Intro. It's not really a tutorial, is it? Let me just check. Aqua is not here already. Yeah, it's not. Okay. So we're gonna do this one, then we'll do this. Oh wait, that's not what I wanted. We'll do this. Then this. Cool. So I don't even know if I want to do the Hello World tutorial, you know. Akahishi Pionati. Nice. You know what? When was the last time this was updated? January 2021. April 2021. Wait, what? Update April 2021. Okay, I was about to say. March 2021. How many did I do for Spring 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2.8. You know what? We'll do Hello World anyway, because there's not that many tutorials for play. And it doesn't say what it recommends, it's just saying that. Oh, wait, it doesn't recommend these three though. Because these. Let me just check this. It does say it's for 2.8. You know what? We'll worry about it when we get to it. I'll do these 8. But. So I'll start with the Hello World one next week. Sunday. Anyway. That is the end of my spring journey. It has been eventful. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, enjoy the rest of your day, and peace.